What's going on, YouTube? Culturedog Sam Hatch back with another video. I've been meaning to do this one for a while, but I've been so wrapped up in my laserdisc collection videos, which I promise, these guys are coming soon, that I had neglected to finally throw down this video too. A Blu-ray that I happened to watch, actually it took a couple nights to watch it because of the extras. It's a monster. But with the new film being released today, I figured I'd finally throw down briefly on The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug. And I don't usually bother with the theatrical cuts when they come out. I just hold out for the extended editions. And it's got the little wraparound J card. Well, more than a J card, almost. And this one's got the logo from inside the Lonely Mountain Erebor that you'll see when you watch the film, if you haven't seen it already. And the kind of cool, I like all the dwarven engravings on the edges here, and then it's actually inset. Nice kind of glossy photo that's inset there. And also pretty snazzy with the black Blu-ray cases, which is pretty cool. And 3 discs. It's a little more streamlined than the extended editions were for Lord of the Rings. They really went out of control, or just really delved into the appendices being these sprawling kind of monuments with all these spider-like maps and guides to help you get through them all. And these are definitely a little bit more user-friendly. It's just pop it in, and you can check out the different segments of the making of, but really it's just a play all and just relax kind of situation. So I do appreciate that. It does have a digital HD thing that I'll never use, but whatever. And just the simple flipper interior section, and the appendices, I do like that they call them Part 9, so it is in carrying over from the Lord of the Rings appendices, though I guess if you were to go in chronological order, these would take place before those, but whatever. And then Part 10, Journey to Erebor. The film itself is a little more extended than the first Hobbit film, and I'm still at a loss as to why there's so much backlash, and almost instantaneous backlash against this series. Much like I was completely bewildered by Hollywood's reaction to the Oscar going to Return of the King. I remember Entertainment Weekly having this piece about, okay, we let these a-holes in their fantasy have it for once, but now we're getting back to serious movies. It was almost like, we let our guard down because of post 9/11 mind frames kind of making us a little bit more in tune with fantasy. But there was this line drawn in the sand. That's it, though. It's back to movies about depression and Meryl Streep, and that's what's important. So that was kind of like, what? Why can't we celebrate the fact that there was a big blockbuster that was also rich with character that won an Oscar? Why is that a horrible thing? I'm not sure, but it is. And it's like the reason why films like The Dark Knight, as rich as they are thematically, don't win Best Picture. It's just not allowed. So have fun watching The Hours again. So yeah, The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug. I actually do appreciate the extended editions. I think some of the films, that actually helps them flow a little bit better. Fellowship of the Ring, I thought flowed better as an extended edition. And for all of people's complaints about the first Hobbit, I do think it was nice having the extra time, the extra songs with the Hobbits, and it just kind of made it makes it feel more akin to the book experience. And in the case of The Desolation of Smaug, when I saw it in theaters, I was struck immediately by how fast everything was moving, how there was a shot out of a cannon vibe. So I was really looking forward to the introduction of Beorn and how they were going to establish moving into Mirkwood and everything like that. And it was just like, bam, bam, we're here. Bam, we're there. Bam, okay, now we're done. Now we can relax a little bit and jump around on barrels for 30 hours. And really, the one thing I was really disappointed about in the theatrical cut was that it excised the moment where all of the dwarves are introduced piecemeal by Gandalf to Beorn, because Beorn is this kind of, if you haven't seen the film, he's this shapeshifter bear human gentleman who doesn't really take kindly to dwarves and Gandalf decides to introduce the party of 13 dwarves and one hobbit to him, one at a time, or two at a time, or three at a time. And thankfully that is back in here. That was early on in the film, and I was super excited to see that included. I said there's some other pieces with the wood elves, and it's a little bit more intricate. Just takes its time a little bit, and I appreciate that. I don't mind sitting around and getting a couple things of popcorn and just curling up on the couch and making a night out of it. So I think the extended edition definitely helped it. I don't know, just breathe a little bit more. Now, the film itself, the transfer looked great. I didn't really have time. I mean, every once in a while there's some digital softness to the CGI, but I didn't see, I don't think, Smaug in 48 frames per second like I saw the first Hobbit, which was strange. It's the soap opera effect. It definitely takes some getting used to, and especially in keeping continuity with the Lord of the Rings films, it's weird seeing so much of it look alike, and then but just not having that similar film tone to it. So I actually enjoyed watching The Hobbit: An Unexpected Journey on Blu-ray more than seeing it in the theaters because of that. And I know it's a weird byproduct, and we're not supposed to have a problem with things looking more realistic, but maybe I'm being trained watching cinema for so long and low frame rates, I guess we are. But yeah, so looked really nice. A lot of great CGI effects. As always, there's those moments where Peter Jackson pushes the envelope maybe a little bit too far, and he gets out of control a little bit with the barrel scenes, with characters doing pirouettes on dwarves' heads and flying around. And that said, I almost cringe at times when he goes too far. But on the other hand, it's almost like something you have to just shake his hand and say, go for it. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in my review of the Battle of the Five Armies. But where this thing really shines is the appendices. And, oh, man. Also, the soundtrack is great. It's got a DTS HD Master Audio and some Dolby Digital on there. Runs about 186 minutes, so you cancel your plans. But the sound, especially once you get into Smaug's chamber, is immense. But the appendices, I've had this... I almost miss the appendices more than I miss the films themselves. When the Lord of the Rings series ended, I had this kind of withdrawal the next year, especially around Thanksgiving, because that's when I expect, there's going to be a new film on the horizon in December, but I expect to see a new special edition, and I expect to hang out with Richard Taylor and all of the WETA Workshop guys, and Andrew Lesney, and all these characters that I've grown used to over the years. And then it dried up. So the most exciting thing about The Hobbit returning and finally showing up on film in a live action version was watching some of the early footage from New Zealand when they had the Maori tribesmen come and bless the set and do the ritual dances. And I was like, wow, it's cool. Those are the guys. That's the team I'm so used to. There's Peter Jackson. There's Philip O'Boyens. All right, cool. I can't wait to see what's going on. So it was more like we're going to be back invited into their house. And that's what the appendices are like. It's just nonstop immersion in the filmmaking process. And 2 discs, each one's about 5 hours long. So you're talking about 10 hours. By the time this thing runs through, you're going to feel as if you had made the film. And, man, so impressive from Andy Serkis, who played Gollum, doing all the second assistant director work. Benedict Cumberbatch, you get to see him doing more of his performances as Smaug and the Necromancer. And, man, just overall, really impressive seeing how even sometimes something is created out of nothing. But just the problem solving and Peter Jackson's eye. There's this incredible section where he's reviewing footage of the CGI mountain of gold within the Erebor mountain, and he's watching these gold coins filter down this mountain, and Peter Jackson just immediately says that something's wrong, and the CGI animator said, no, we actually did our research. We went and we built up the mathematics, we programmed it, so we know exactly how this matter is going to fall down. And Peter Jackson said, no, we can't Yeah, it's wrong. So he said, well, look, we've got a small version or a small portion of this mountain with all these real, gold coins. Again, they had fake coins and everything, but they actually minted gold coins to make it legitimate. And unfortunately, they sank over all the kind of cork and whatever light wood coins they had. So they had to have a team of people. And again, it shows the teamwork, the camaraderie. It wasn't just people that were working on the practical effects and the props that were digging into the mountains. It was everybody. Peter Jackson himself was digging into the mountain looking for these coins so that he could bring them to the CGI group and rebuild a little mound and tilt it up and see what happens. And sure enough, the imperfections on the coins would eventually hold them up and they would stick, so they wouldn't just flow down like you would expect. So it's moments like that that's just completely amazing. There's also a really intense part at the end of disc 2 where the sound mix isn't ready and the film is literally about to be released, and Warner Brothers on the West Coast of America needs a print and needs it done and needs it locked down, and it's not done mixing. And it's so cool to see Peter Jackson just take time off from color grading and editing, and he just walks in with his cup of tea, sits down on the couch, and just sticks with it. And I mean, these guys push through. They don't get any sleep. They keep working until 6 in the morning, and just really, really cool and inspiring. The actors are all fun to hang out with. It's really interesting seeing all the cameos from Stephen Colbert appearing in Lake Town, and the graphic artists, John Howe and Alan Lee, showing up as characters in Lake Town as well. And it's just super interesting to see how much of a family environment it is. When I think it was James Nesbitt, one of the dwarves, had his family in town, Peter Jackson cast his daughters as Bard the Bowman's daughters. And so, I mean, it's not just that you get to bring your family with you. They might actually get substantial parts. And even Peter Jackson's daughter, who was one of the fireworks observer, little Bilbo storytellees in the Fellowship of the Ring, shows up. Now she's a bar wench in Bree, which is pretty cool. But again, I think you kind of have to love the Hobbit films, love the Lord of the Rings films a little bit more than your average bear and the to sit through 2 discs of 5 hours of appendices each. But it's really, really impressive work. And for all the hate out there, I don't really see these films as being any more bloated or any more, cynical. Or I think they're in the spirit of the first Lord of the Rings films. Like, if anybody's perception's changed, it's been, the viewers. And maybe we've come to grow mature and we no longer allow hobbits into our lives. But I don't know. I thought it was a blast. So I highly recommend checking this out, picking it up if you can. And likewise, get the first Hobbit film, An Unexpected Journey, on this as well. They'll look nice together sitting on the shelves. So, The Hobbit. Talk to you guys soon.